we get in front of the pastor, don't you embarrass me. You better act like you got some sense.
Well, you wouldn't have to worry about me embarrassing you if we weren't here. I could have been home watching the football game.
Come in. Hey, Mr. and Mrs. Harris, how are you all?
Hi, Pastor, how you doing?
I'm wonderful. Good to see you.
How you doing, sir?
Doing well. Doing well. Now, I have to admit, when I saw you all's name on my appointment schedule, I was a bit shocked. You all have been married for quite some time, and from what I'm understanding, your all's marriage is quite blissful. So, what are you all doing here today?
Well, Pastor, I wish I could tell you. I'm trying to figure out why we're here, too. I don't see nothing wrong with us.
Are you serious? Are you really serious? You're sitting here saying you see nothing wrong with us? We don't eat together. You don't take me on vacations. You don't go on dates anymore. We do nothing new. Absolutely nothing.
Now, wait a minute. We do some things. Remember when I took you to see that Temptations concert?
That was back in 1986, fool.
Sister Harris, are you sure you're not over-exaggerating just a bit? I mean, I'm sure there's some things that you all do together.
Pastor, we do absolutely nothing. We don't eat together. We don't watch television together. We don't go on dates. We don't go on vacations. We don't pray together, Pastor.
My.
We don't pray together. We do nothing together. Wait. Yes, we do. We sleep together. Oh, no, we don't. You know, half of the time he falls asleep on the sofa.
Oh.
He don't buy me roses. He don't buy me jewelry. We quality time. What is that? We do, Pastor, nothing.
Now, wait a minute. What do you mean we don't do nothing? I go to work every day. I pay the bills. I get gas in your car and money in your bank account. Don't you go tripping now, Mrs. Harris. That's some things you don't do.
Wait a minute now.
Now, hold up.
You better get it, Pastor.
I think to her point, though, those are things that you do for her.
That's right.
Those aren't things that you all do together.
That's right.
So let me ask you, Brother Harris, can you think of anything that you do together more recent than 1986?
Well, right off the top of my head, I can't think of nothing, Pastor, but we do some things.
Okay. And you know, Sister Harris, you gave a long list of all the things that you all don't do.
I can tell you more, too.
I'm sure you can. But let me ask you, have you initiated with your husband to do some of those things? Maybe you've been waiting for him to do it, but you very well could have initiated some of those things to do on your own. Have you thought about that at all?
Well, Pastor, I guess I really haven't tried.
You know, it sounds like to me that you all are lacking some passion in the marriage. And it wouldn't be so uncommon. There have been people that I've encountered and have known that have been married as long as you all have been married, and sometimes there's a tendency of taking each other for granted because you all are always together with one another. And you forget to do those things that will bring passion into the relationship. And you get used to each other. Before you know it, the marriage gets stale, the relationship gets stale. Now, the reason why I know that happens is because it happens also with our personal relationship with God. We get so used to God's grace waking us up in the morning. We get so used to God blessing us to the point that we actually feel entitled. We have a relationship with God, but we don't really have passion. We just kind of go through the motions, doing what we know we're supposed to do, what we're used to doing, but we don't really do anything outside of anything special. You know, it's like celebrating the Christmas story or the Easter. So we know what to expect, and so as a result, we're not excited. We can come to church and be just as dry, just as dead, and go back the same way. And what that means is that there's a lack of passion. Matter of fact, this kind of reminds me of the church of Ephesus in Revelations chapter 2, if I'm not mistaken. That's whenever John wrote to the church telling them what Jesus was telling them. Jesus was giving them just all of the accolades, saying, listen, you all are doing great. You all are speaking up or against the wicked. You all are doing all of the right things. You're crossing the T's, dotting the I's, but I do have something against you. And Jesus says that you've abandoned your first love, meaning that you have lost passion for serving me. And what Christ was saying is that you need to get that passion back. And that's what I'm saying about you all as well.
So let me get this straight. You're trying to tell me that our marriage is like that church?
Now wait a minute, Pastor. Our marriage can't be like that, church. We still love each other.
Oh, yeah, I can tell you do, and I don't question the love that you have for each other, but you can have love and still be passionless. Yeah, love, just because you love someone doesn't mean that you have passion for them. As a matter of fact, because you love them, that's all the more reason why you need to try to do what you need to do in order to increase the passion. I don't question anyone's love that they have for God, but I do sometimes question their passion when I see that they're not really enthusiastic about serving God. Hard for them to want to even praise God, lift up hands. I mean, have you all ever been at a church service that's just been so beautifully blessed, and yet you're sitting next to folk that just sit there like a rock always? It doesn't necessarily mean that they don't love God, but maybe the passion is missing in their lives. And I'm not necessarily saying that you all are exactly like this church, but I am saying that maybe you all could do for some passion in your marriage, you know?
Yeah, Pastor, I think you're right. I think we are missing some passion in our life.
Okay, so Pastor, what can we do to get that passion back?
I have a lot of ideas. Sister Harris, you can maybe, when Brother Harris come home, you can meet him with a wig on, with fresh new heels, or that can get some passion back. But you just do those kind of things that you used to do. In other words, this is what Jesus told John to write to the church of Ephesus. He says, you've abandoned your first love. Then he says, remember those things that caused you to fall in love with me in the first place. That's what you can do in order to get that passion back. Remember what caused you to love her in the first place. And remember, Sister Harris, what caused you to love him. It might have been a time when he had hair. Doesn't matter. Think about it. But the point is that just remember why you have fallen in love with each other. And that's a start. It will help to create passion. Matter of fact, even whenever we find that our relationship with God is growing stale, remember the time that we met him. Remember whenever God rescued us from that sinking pit of sin. Yes. And that should inspire some passion even in our relationship with God. So that's a start. That's a place where you can begin.
Okay, Pastor, you're right. I guess if it's that important to me, I guess I could open myself up a little bit and maybe do some of the things that I used to do when we first met, and maybe even perhaps make a vow to try to communicate with her a little bit more effectively.
I like that idea. Sister Harris?
Yes, I think we got some things we need to work on.
You all should start tonight.
Okay, Pastor. Well, thank you so much.
All right. Yes, wonderful.
For breaking it down to us like that. We appreciate that.
Okay.
We do have some things that we can work on.
All right.
Thank you, Pastor.
Listen,
Thank you.
you all have a wonderful day.
Oh, sweetheart,
Yeah.
we got so much to work on. Listen.
Me.
Let's go to dinner.
Okay. One day at a time. Lady. One day at a time.
Where is that other couple?